Hello, in this video we're going to be forging that Scottish Highlander 17th century dirk you saw in the beginning of this video. Now before we get too deep, we should describe what exactly a dirk is. Now a dirk is a Scottish thrusting dagger used back in the 16th and 17th century as a fighting weapon, a cheap everyday carry fighting weapon. And then in the 18th and 19th century it was used for ceremonial use, and I do believe that they still use it to this day as ceremonial weapons. The Scottish dirk usually had a 12 to 14 inch blade, and it had a handle anywhere from 3.5 to 5.5 inches. That includes the hilt and the guard, which were usually wood, ivory, or brass. Now there are a few superstitions around the Scottish dirk. In the 16th and 17th century, the steel came from Germany, and they believed that it was blessed by the Catholics and somehow made it a holy blade. So it was oftentimes used to swear upon, like you'll see in the movie Kidnapped, the original, where Alan Breck Stewart pulls out his dagger and says that he did not kill the Englishman, even though he did. Sometimes it would be used for sealing business deals. You would take out your dagger and swear that you had bought this, according to the information that I found on Wikipedia. And we know Wikipedia doesn't lie. I'm going to start by forging down this tang to a nice, probably 6 inches. I'm going to end up grinding it and cutting off a little bit of it, but it's better to have too much material than not enough. I'm going to pull this in and out of my forge to get a nice even temper or even temperature along the blade, so I can thermal cycle this and then quench it in oil to get an HRC of about 62. I'm then going to rough grind it, and after the rough grind we'll torch temper it. My oven's too small for this long of a blade. We're just going to torch temper it to about a straw. I got a little bit of blue along the spine, which is fine because it won't be sharpened to that point anyway. If somebody does purchase this blade, which it is for sale on my eBay store, I'll leave a link in the description below. You can sharpen it if you like. I sharpened it at one point just to test it out, and it works fine. I like to start my bevels with the 1x30 just because I have more experience with it and I can get a lot more precise. And then I like to take it over to my 2x72 for polishing it up and getting a really nice 600 grit polish. I will hand sand this to 800 grit before putting it in gun blue, giving it a nice rustic finish. This is the guard. The guard will be round. I just gave a basic shape to start with. This is a mixture of brass and copper that I smelted myself. This is just a basic way of how I do it. Is I cut out a pattern, I draw it out on a piece of paper first and cut it out, then just super glue it to the top of my piece. Similar to what I do here, but this is for the pommel. You measure it and you mark it using dial calipers to get a nice precise fit up. You drill it out and you apply your glue and your paper and you just grind it to size. I'm going to hand file this with my needle files. This is actually one of my favorite parts, is just sitting down in my chair, let's do a good podcast and just filing away at this material. Now for the glue up. This is just 30-minute epoxy glue. I'm going to mix it up and add some graphite in it to make the glue black. And there's my handle in the background. I didn't show me making that handle, but that handle is black walnut, and I polished it to 800 grit before waxing, and the rest of the parts are polished to 1000 grit before applying the wax. I think this blade turned out really cool. I really love this blade. And if you do too, feel free to check out the link in the description below. if you are interested in buying this blade. Thank you guys so much for watching, and you all have a great one.